The name of the show is The Way to Go. My name is Alan Bendich. I'm going to be your host. Tonight we have two special guests, Michelle Calderon and Mark Nicolaescu. And they've created this wonderful app called Wake. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us.
So tell me a little bit about, where you guys come from.
So I'm from Seaford, New York, and Mark is from Oceanside.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so how'd you guys meet?
So we both went to Hofstra University, and we took a lot of classes together. And it was actually a pre-med curriculum. And I also studied marketing. And then we stayed friends after college. Right. And then we had an app idea that we're going to tell you about a little bit more, how we got into that. But that's why we're here today. And
Hofstra, didn't they have a debate there?
The debate, yeah. It was crazy. I was actually there in 2008 when they had their first debate there, and the whole campus was like wild with security.
Did you see? Did you see the debate?
No, I didn't see it because it's very hard to get tickets. Like you have to win a lottery. But
I see.
Yeah.
But it's so awesome. I mean, that's great. So, so you studied marketing?
I studied pre-med and marketing.
Oh, pre-med and marketing.
Yeah, that science, marketing, brain thing.
So what happened to the pre-med?
Well, I was going to pursue that, but then I pursued a formulation chemist role at Estee Lauder for a couple of years post-college.
Right.
But I still wanted to do something marketing related. I feel like that needed to be fulfilled. I think my inspiration from making the products in the lab, lipstick products in the lab, led me to want to create a business, and my skills complement Mark's skills, so we came together to do this app.
So Mark, what did you study? I'm curious.
We actually studied a lot of the same classes. I was pre-med too, and I didn't go into that field either.
Right.
But go on, I'm sorry.
We studied a lot of the same classes, had a lot of the same frustrations, MCAT class, cell bio, these are all really negative memories for us.
You didn't like cell bio?
I
liked
it was
cell bio.
It was a tough class.
Oh, okay, cell bio to me was kind of like
easier?
Oh, you took it as well?
But it was like organic chem was the thing that...
you were pre-med too, though?
I was pre-med.
Really?
Yes, at Harper College.
I guess it's just the thing to be.
Yeah, but I dropped out of pre-med though.
We all did.
I went into business.
Oh, you did?
So I got a degree in accounting, but that's a separate issue. But continue, I want to hear your story.
Yeah, so, and then after that I actually went to Columbia. I started studying statistics there. I really wanted to get into finance, and while I was doing that I started getting really interested in, New York is a great startup hub. You have so many great startups that are that evolve out of New York, and I started getting really interested in that, and I spent some time with that, and I wanted to create my own as well. So we just, we were talking one day. We were still, in touch, and we were.
So who came up with the idea?
It was actually mutual. Yeah. We were out one night at a bar, and we just kind of looked around and noticed that people weren't really socializing with each other. Guys stand up, posted up against the wall in the bars, or girls kind of stick to their own circle, and we're just like, why aren't people socializing with each other? Is there a way that we can maybe make an app and kind of facilitate meeting people in real life at the places that you actually go?
Right.
And that brings us to Wake. And that's exactly what our app does. It connects you to people in the real world based on the places that you go.
And it's so, I think now that everyone's so into their phones and their computers, they've lost, the ability almost, or the ability to approach someone. And it's scary to approach someone. Because of the rejection factor is always a scary situation to be in, right?
Essentially, so we're trying to use the smartphone technology. People may be a little bit more comfortable using their phones first to kind of ease into meeting people in real life. So.
And I don't think it's just that. I mean, it's also the factor of, we all have smartphones. We all use our smartphones, and it's not just, I think it's also about, finding people that you could get along with. I mean, if you could see who's at the same place as you, and hey, this person has the same obscure interests that I do. Let's get a drink, let's talk, we've had a lot of really interesting use cases about how people use the app to just meet someone then and there while they're out.
So how do you create an app? I mean, my son is a computer science, he graduated with a computer science major. Would he know how to do something like that? Or how do you do it?
Well, basically, you have to know programming, the different languages for different apps. iOS is something called Objective-C.
So you actually made the app? You programmed it?
We did, yeah.
Wow.
We programmed it, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that was, a headache because you have bugs upon bugs. I remember calling her at 9 p.m. I'm like, hey, I have to come over now to test this. And she was like, oh, I just want to go to sleep. And I'm like, I have to come over. And, so it took a lot of time to iron out those bugs.
So let's put a timeline to it. When did you start? When did the idea happen, and when did you start actually working on it?
It was about a year ago that we first started talking, and then there is a development time. Took us about maybe 6-7 months to develop the app, and around right before summer, I think we had something that we felt comfortable that we wanted to launch, and we did launch it. We went to Hofstra. We got 500 signups in 2 weeks during finals week. So you wouldn't expect people during finals week, to be really interested in technology, but they liked our app and they were using it during finals week. So that gave us a lot of motivation to keep going on, and we plan to launch in the city in 2 weeks, and hopefully a couple of weeks.
So what's the average age of the people who sign up or use your app?
We have an age range, I would say, between 18 and 35.
Right.
I wouldn't really give an average because, there's people that are younger 20s or some in the 30s.
But so that's the spread from 18 to, which is, there's a lot of people that.
We came up with that number because while we initially started at Hofstra in the summer, we went pretty hard launching our app at different venues in Nassau County from Thursday nights to Sundays, every weekend, just talking to people, getting them to download the app at these different bars, whether it's the Freeport Mile, Rockville Center, Wantagh, just all these different places to kind of see how the app does in the different parts of Long Island.
So, I mean, I wish we had a visual for this, but so when you go to the app, what do you see?
You just see people that are right around you, people that are nearby, people
are
that
they
are
like
places.
headshots of people? Or
yeah, whatever they want to put up. Some people like to put up, headshots. Some people, I think the best thing to do is put up pictures that kind of show what you're into. So if you're into hiking, you might show a picture of, yourself on a trail, or, if you're into fitness, you don't want to go too heavy with like the flexing pictures. You want to have some good taste, but you could show off that side of you. So you open up and you'll see people that are at the same place that you are, people that were just recently there. It's really simple, and if you want to connect with someone, you just send a notification, and that's it.
And I guess if you have location on your phone, it might be easy just to meet quickly, right? I mean,
wherever you want.
That's the beauty of it. Like, Wake is on your phone, so as you go places, you're inevitably walking into that location, and you'll see the other people that also have Wake on their phone at that location or were there recently.
So, so how many people do you have now, basically?
So we had 2,000 downloads by the end of the summer, and we're continuously getting downloads even as we speak. We had a few today. Now,
is it mostly in the New York area that you're getting the downloads, or do you have downloads beyond the New York area?
It's mostly Nassau County because that's primarily where we're based. And it's, again, very specific demographic. It's users, like you said, 18 to 35, mostly in their 20s, I would say. Everyone that has it is on an iPhone, and they're all in Nassau County, so it's a very tight demographic.
Are you planning to expand at some point?
Of course. We plan on getting in the city, like I said, a few weeks from today. It's just that we really wanted to understand our user base, what they expect out of an app, how they would use it.
Do you get feedback?
We do. We get constant feedback. We get, reviews and just different types of suggestions about how they would. One common suggestion that we get a lot is, wouldn't it be great if I could use this app and I could see who would be at the venue that I want to go to? So let's say I want to go out to some place this weekend. Let's see who's there. I mean, we'll see if, we end up incorporating that. But people are really passionate about that, and just they really like the idea.
It seems like almost like a club. Like, even though you don't know each other, if you're all on Wake, then you're a part of like a little family already, or at least an extended potential.
Yeah.
I would hope that people think of it like a family,
That's a good way to put it, actually.
That would be awesome, actually. I wish I had that when I was 20. I was too busy chasing girls in bars. No, but it's and then I guess, it takes away part of the, like, how do you approach someone? You already have that, and how does it work? Like, someone, like, you have the app, you see someone interesting, you email, you text them something, or what happens? How does the app work? You basically just send them a notification telling them that you like them, that you want to connect with them. And if they, if they accept it, then you can do that. You can meet them then and there. Some people do that. Some people choose to meet them after the fact. Right. But we're really trying to go for that then and there fact, because there's really nothing else like that out there. I mean, every other app that you look at will have you, look at people after the fact, when you're on the train, when you're at home, when you're at the office. But, what about connecting people in the real world? I mean, talk about social networking. Where's the social aspect behind it? Right. So how do you get the app, first of all? I mean, is it on a platform that, how do you, once you create an app, how do you communicate that the apps? I mean, where do you know? I don't know. I thought you go to Apple Store. I don't know. How does it work?
So yeah, it's available to download on the App Store for Apple right now, but we do plan on getting it on Android very, very soon.
So, but I mean, how do you put an app on?
Oh, how do you like register it, you mean?
Right, all that stuff.
Yes, so you register the app actually.
You mean how do you
I
submit
mean,
it to Apple?
you create an
You
app.
submit it to Apple and get it approved. The whole approval process,
Right.
essentially, is what he's asking.
It's a headache. It's
it was a headache.
Apple
yeah,
is
it really was.
is very
Strict.
demanding on what they want of their apps. They want to promote high quality apps. So there are a lot of different things that they ask of you, and you have to meet obviously all these requirements to have a good high quality app. I think there are a million some apps in the App Store, so they don't just let any clutter kind of go in there. So it's a rigorous screening process, maybe 2 to 3 weeks. For us, it took us a little bit longer because, you know, they didn't approve us immediately. They were kind of like dangling the chocolate in front of us, and then as soon as we get closer, they yank it a little bit away. And so every week we get a little bit closer, and then finally we managed to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone can go on to the App Store and download it?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's free. Mm-hmm.
So,
Free's always good.
so how do you make money on an app? That's the question. If it's free, how do you make money?
That's always the question for a lot of free apps, and right now it's free for everyone because we just want to get feedback. We want to get people using the app.
Right.
But we have a couple really interesting ways that I think we can provide value for our customers without, you know, making them open their pocketbook. So, for example, imagine having the app going into Macy's, right? It's hyper local, right? So it's really targeting where you are at that specific time. So imagine going to Macy's and getting a push notification, hey, Ray-Ban's on sale today, you know, or even the opposite side of the spectrum, going to JCPenney and getting a push notification from Macy's, come to our store,
So
we have a sale.
there's marketing potential there.
Yeah, very, very localized.
Hyper-local advertising
That's cool.
from businesses.
Yeah.
You can use the platform for that. Mm-hmm.
So do you do anything else other than work on the app? Or is this your total focus of everything that you do right now?
I have no life outside the app.
For me, I'm actually a chemist, like I was saying before, for Estee Lauder.
Oh, so you're still doing
Yeah, I'm
that?
still pursuing that right now, but I mean, this is going to be my main focus very soon.
So when do you think it'll explode?
Well, that is a good question.
Hopefully soon. We're trying to, we're raising some capital right now. We're expecting to close that hopefully in this next month or so. And you know, when you have that, you can do a lot more in terms of the types of promotions that you can run. We really want to start targeting people at different events in the city, very upscale places, you know, running hyper-local ads, things like that. So that'll allow us to expand into the city. And then once you hit a critical mass is the point at which, you know, the app kind of starts spreading itself. Once we hit that, we expect the explosion, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you have any other, I mean, I'm not going to ask you for what they are, but do you have any other ideas for apps that you're going to create?
Other ideas? I mean, I think the key thing is you want to identify pain points in people's lives. I think in this particular instance, it's like you said, being able to connect with someone. You know, there's really no easy way to do that. So we have a couple of other ideas. I'm sure we each, you know, everyone has their own idea for an app, but, you know, we try to just go around and see, you know, how can we fix this situation? How can we make things easier for people?
And I think, you know, my father's 101 years old, right? And he's been on this show 60 times. But he even says now that my mother passed away in 2009, and he's had a couple of girlfriends, but he talks about how even where he lives, which is like a senior community, guys are scared to approach women.
Really?
And, you know, they're seniors. They're like great-grandfathers, but they're still, the guys go on one side, the women are on the other, and it takes, I mean, he's not afraid to do it. And he's had a couple of girlfriends, and he's very aggressive. Not aggressive, but he's like a babe magnet. But he says, you know, he sees all these guys, and they're in their 90s, and they're afraid to approach a woman.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think, you know, I think you could even do this at a different level for seniors or whatever it is. You know, I mean, this is a market that's never going to go away, and it's always been there too. So I think it's a great idea.
I guess it never gets easier with age, right?
Right. Yeah. And it's better than, you know, the other ones that they have are so generic in nature, I think, you know, and it's just like, you know, this is such a targeted, that's great, man. I can't believe it. So And this is your life right now?
It's my only life, yeah.
It's a lot of my life too, though, honestly.
Yeah, it's both of our lives.
So how could you live this dual life?
Exactly why I'm not doing that much longer. I complain to him every day.
Right.
So, yeah.
So how'd you meet JT? I got to ask, because JT is the person who got us together.
So I met JT through a good friend, Matt. So I was out with Matt one night, and JT happened to be there. JT and I hit it off, and then JT introduced me to you, and that's why we're here today.
Right. It's and you were supposed to be here the 18th, but I had to cancel the 18th.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We're here today, so it's all good.
But this is great. This is like I don't know. So, do you have any other aspirations? Because you were going to be on Scriptless with my show, right? I mean, at one point, do you think you would like to be an actress or?
I mean, it's something that has always crossed my mind, but I just never really thought that, I didn't know how to reach that point or an opportunity for that. So it's possible. Yeah, I mean, it's possible down the line that something like that can happen. But I mean, my main focus right now is definitely the app. I'm very passionate about it. So I'd like to see where I can take that.
Do apps have ads on them at all? I mean, I know you're going to be targeting. Is that another way you could actually?
It is, yeah. There are all these different types of, banner ads, all these types of, but we're trying to go for a more streamlined kind of user experience, make everything very clean. We don't want to be, necessarily bombarding you with like, hey, sale, blah, 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 blah. Just, we want to implement it in a way that doesn't impact user experience. I think that's a challenge.
So do you think the critical mass will happen in the area that you live in? Is that where it's going to like explode, you think? Is that the...
Well, our plan is to get it to the city. We've seen interesting things on Long Island. We see people talking about the app, people texting about the app. So we'll do an event, and then we expect to get a good amount of signups during the event, and then we'll go home and we'll see. We'll check our app, and we'll see throughout the week. We'll see a constant flow of signups, and it's just really interesting because that means people are probably talking about it. People are probably sharing it with their friends. And I think that's just fascinating, the flow by which, word of mouth can, move something like that.
So so it's local, so everyone knows these areas. Like if you're in Manhattan, though, would it translate into the Manhattan locality also? Yeah. So what is it like when you're looking at it? It says, I'm here, you're there?
Well, essentially, you open the app and you'll just see a bunch of profiles based on the place that you actually went to. So it'll say if they're there now or were there recently, and it's a timestamp based on if they say, okay, 2 minutes ago or 14 hours ago.
And if they're there, does that mean that they're interested in meeting other people?
It's just registered to your phone, like location.
Okay, so it's a location.
That's up to them if they want to.
Yeah.
So what stops it from happening in Manhattan now? I mean,
nothing stops
except
it.
that you don't have the critical mass yet.
Right. Yeah. We've just been focusing on closer to home. I think Manhattan's the place to be. I mean,
yeah, that would be.
We have some big plans.
Brooklyn is good too, I think.
Oh yeah, Williamsburg, all these places. From what I understand, you talk about people being so involved in their phones, and there are a lot of cities. New York is one of them. There's no more real dating scene on New York. Everyone is on an app. There are places like Vancouver, hugely populated cities where people are so busy, they don't have time to meet. And I think that's the value of having something like this, especially when you can connect over things that, you're both passionate about.
Right. And, you go to a bar, you meet someone, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, that never ends up good.
Yeah. But I could see this. This is like, if this hits, could you imagine? I mean, I mean, with just our campaign on Long Island that we did in the summer, I mean, we saw some amazing results. So I can't even imagine once we take that to larger scale, like it definitely has the potential to be some part of common life. That's why we see that vision, and we can really make that a reality. Yeah. Do you meet people who know? I mean, have you ever seen people using your app when you're out or something like that?
So funny, actually. A few weeks after doing an event, I was out at a bar with my friends in Long Beach just celebrating a friend's birthday. And one of the guys from a few weeks prior, I guess he checked the app, looked at me, and came up to me, and he's like, "Are you on Wake?" And I'm like, "That's crazy." Yeah, like I actually vaguely remember talking to you a couple weeks ago. So it was a way that we kind of reconnected after a few weeks prior because we both had the app.
And I remember there was another time when we were at another bar, and then we were doing another promotion there. We had our banner up. You could see the app name, and someone came up to us and was like, "Hey, Wake, my friends told me about this app in the group message. It's right here." Yeah. And I thought that was just really cool.
Yeah. Are you ever concerned about privacy, or issues of that? I mean, like, there's, I mean, that I can imagine that people could use this app in a negative way, and I mean, it's like still people who are afraid to approach people are going to the opposite extreme by actually putting themselves out there. So, but are there any concerns that you have about that?
Well, I think people use this app because they want to use this app, so they feel comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And I think we're just getting to a point with technology where people are, a lot more open. Whether it's whatever your different social media profiles, everyone has all their information out there. Right. So I think regarding that, people have really come to they've acclimated to it. Right. They're used to that.
Well, I know some people got married, older people with I'm talking about, through some of these websites, and they actually, they've done well, but I don't think I've ever seen any or heard of any that really were targeting specific, young people, meaning, marketing directly towards them. So it's like, I'm sure that they'll even find it to be, something great that it's theirs. It's like for their age group versus like the Match.coms and all this other stuff that's really targeting like the 40s and stuff like that.
It's totally,
50s.
It's totally on the go. And like, young people are always out, so that's why it's like a really good fit for them to meet other people when they have it on the go.
So did you have to trademark this whole thing, or how does the whole thing work? I've never done anything. What can I say?
Well, yeah, there's some things you can trademark. A trademark is basically protection for a phrase or a design. So, for example, trademarking wake, or you could patent certain technology within the app. There are different things you can do as far as that. But I think ultimately you'd be surprised how when these apps get to market, it's really not that simple to build something from scratch and then scale it, especially of this nature. So while it's a concern, I don't think it's a huge concern. I don't think anyone can really pop up on the scene and, they can develop it, but marketing is really the challenge. Again, getting all those users, that's no small feat. You can't just wake up one day and say, hey, I have an app, download it. You have to figure out how you're going to get people to download it.
So how do you protect people, though? I mean, like let's say because you hear all the time about stalking and things like that, and, forget it. I work at 40 Worth Street, and I work right where Robert De Niro is. I'm constantly trying to take pictures of him in front of the Tribeca Grill and the Chelsea Hotel. But with this, I mean, you see a beautiful girl, right? And you know that she's over here. That's a scary thing, I mean, that's one aspect. That's you're putting yourself out there.
It's not like there's a tracking device on a person. Oh, okay. It's just radius based. Right. So if you're at a location and someone enters your radius, then you'll both register each other. Right. But as soon as you leave the radius, you're not going to know where Sally went, 3 hours
That was my
after.
public service part of this whole thing. I think the app's great. I mean,
Thank
you, if I was your age, I'd have that app right on my phone right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's and most of the, I mean, do you find that the demographic of the people are they like college educated people, or or mostly, or what do you know anything about the demographics other than the age of the people that are?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, typically iOS users tend to be college educated users. I mean, they're very up to date on the different technologies that are out there. So we do get a lot of people like that, especially, I mean, you can imagine what this app would be like in a college atmosphere. Yeah, I mean, it would just be, well, we've already seen it at Hofstra, and people really liked it at Hofstra, so I think that's a perfect demographic for us.
People that's how Facebook started, right? So
I guess so,
and I'd just like to add, it was only the last 2 weeks of Hofstra, and we were able to have it spread 500 users in just 2 weeks. So had we had like a whole semester to trial it out, like, who would have known?
And they still have it on their phones?
Yeah, a lot of them still do.
So are you going to bring it back to Hofstra, you think? Or,
yeah, definitely. There's just so much on our plate right now, and we just have big plans coming to New York City soon. Are
you going to be hiring anybody, or are you looking to expand the...
Yeah, we are actually. We definitely need more engineers to help us build out the product. More help with marketing. One person can't do it alone, obviously.
Is it in your garage or is it in an office?
We actually have a legitimate office, but it tends to be most of the time we're so pressed on time that we meet up wherever we can, whenever we can.
And that's I guess because of the nature of laptops and things like that, you could do this stuff any place you want to.
Yeah,
at Starbucks or whatever.
At Starbucks, basement, garages, wherever we can.
car rides.
Car,
have,
yeah,
like
we've
serious
done
talks on the
sometimes.
car rides. Yeah.
So are you able, other than the two of you working together, do you have people in your life that you're with at this point, or that, and how they put up with the fact that you're constantly working together, you know, going crazy over all this stuff? I mean, so do you have a significant other?
My app is my significant other right now.
No, I don't have a significant other.
Wow. So that's it. I guess when you're young and don't have a significant other, you could work all day and then work all night, and
yeah,
that's it. But I think that it sounds like your dreams are going to be coming true. They're coming true right now. I mean, what's it like to create something like this? I mean,
I think it's great. I mean, personally, I wake up every day. I mean, I know that I can work on something that I'm very passionate about. I mean, just imagine building something that you yourself have a say in, and it's just really, it's awesome. I mean, there's nothing else like that. Instead of, you know, going somewhere and someone telling you what to do, which is fine. It's a fine lifestyle. It's just that I really enjoy building this out however I want to build it out every day.
and you can, how about you?
Yeah, I feel the same as him. I just like to get to that point just because I feel like there's so much extra added stress, like trying to juggle, you know, typical 9-to-5 job during the day, but also literally around the clock, 24/7, doing what I love. So it's a matter of that transition period once I can actually commit to this full time, I think.
I think it's awesome. And I also think that, you know, especially at such a young age, you know, the young people, you'll have time, you know, you could always repeat this. I mean, once you've tasted success and created something, you know, and I mean, you could still guide it, but you could replicate that in other ways, you know. I mean, it's so awesome. And it was just the luck that you were friends and that you just thought about these things.
Yeah.
So, wow. I'm jealous.
I think we're just very like-minded people. We've always connected, you know, intellectually, and always had these crazy talks, just like, so it just was a matter of time before we were able to connect with something and actually
and you're both obviously intelligent. So,
make it a reality, yeah.
It takes a lot of intelligence and
hard
work, focus, all that stuff together.
It's actually a challenge finding people to work with you on any project. A lot of people, you know, you come to know someone, you come to know their work ethic, and there are only so many people that are interested in devoting their lives to doing one singular thing day in and day out, sacrificing all these things. And they're not, you know, it's a challenge to find people that can do that for us.
No question. And also the idea that the delayed reward,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's like, because you're investing, you know, all your time, your mental energy, all this stuff. That you
My
could
hair.
be, your hair, you could be going to, you know, you could be going to work every day getting that paycheck, but this is something that you know you're investing your life to, and you're passionate about, and it's great. I mean, I kind of do that with my acting and stuff like that, but this is something that could really turn into like a fortune, you know. And I wish you both the utmost respect. I mean, utmost success. I have the utmost respect for you guys, and I have one last thing to say. That's a wrap. Good night, folks.